Well, it's Saturday morning and I'm still in my Grogu pajamas. Now, why am I doing that? Well, I want to remember what it's like to be a kid again. You know what I'm talking about? Saturday morning, getting up, watching cartoons, Pee-wee's Playhouse, eating a big bowl of Cap'n Crunch, and then getting out all the Hot Wheels and the Hot Wheels track and those little connectors that you couldn't find, and have some fun because there's no school, there's no work. I want to bring that good time feeling to hi-fi today. That's right. I want to leave all of the specs, all of the gatekeeping behind, and just have fun with some of my hi-fi toys. It's Hi-Fi Fun Club #1, and I'm going to bring it to you today. That's right. We're going to get out the old speaker wire. We're going to get out the strippers. We're going to get out a few classic CDs that we haven't played in years. We're going to get out the wood cleaner, the dusting cloths. We're going to dust off an old piece of gear. We're also going to listen to a new piece of gear that we really haven't had time to play with yet. Yeah, we're going to do all that and more this morning. Hi-Fi Fun Club #1 is next. Hi, I'm Bob, and you are in the United States of Analog. And yeah, I just had this idea when I got up this morning to just have a good time, play around with some of the gear that's been lying around, some of the gear that I haven't had time to really dig into yet, clean some stuff up, and just have a good time. I've got nothing else on my plate today. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is take a look at the FOSI V3 amplifier. We're also going to pair that up with some old Bose 601 big box speakers that I've had them in my bedroom doing nothing except holding all those pillows at night. We're just stacking pillows on top of them at night. Yeah, that's pretty much all they've been doing. We're going to also use a Marantz CD player, but we're just going to use the transport to that 10-year-old machine, that single drawer machine, and we're going to connect that to a J2 AKM DAC from Gishelli Labs, and also use the Gishelli Labs Archel 3 Pro headphone amp as a preamplifier. Get the system all connected with some new speaker wire and see how it sounds, all right? First thing that we're going to do is take a look at the FOSI V3 amplifier. I know you want to get to that. This is not going to be an expanded review, maybe just an overview. We'll get to a review later because this is Saturday morning. We're just having fun, baby. Yeah, let me show you some glamour shots of this mean machine while I tell you a little bit about it. Well, the Fosi Audio V3 mini stereo power amplifier boasts output of 300 watts a channel at 4 ohms and a low noise floor. It has the TI-3255 amplifier chip, has groundbreaking heat dissipation. Yeah, the whole cabinet's a heat sink, right? A set of operational amps, you may know them as op amps, that can be swapped out, and an upgraded power supply is available. I really don't have a use for it other than as a toy, as something to play around with. I did want to compare it to another amp I have, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. But yeah, it's a pretty solid unit. Now, according to the literature, according to the advertisements, this pumps out 300 watts of power per channel. I'm going to leave that to the experts that have the equipment to analyze that and to measure that. I'm going to guess that if I'm getting 40 or 50 clean, worry-free, noise-free watts out of this thing, I'd be pretty happy. 300 seems a little bit of a brag, but maybe. I did read a lot about the construction of this, the op amps that are inside. Of course, we've already talked about the Texas Instrument amp chip. The whole cabinet actually acts as its own heat sink. This metal case, top and bottom, act as kind of the heat sink to dissipate the heat. I didn't notice any warmth to it at all to the touch when I was running it for several hours today. It's got just analog inputs, one set of analog inputs, a pre-out, we'll talk about that in a second, pretty annoying half-size speaker terminals. These are super, super annoying, trust me. And I've got an upgraded power supply coming, and when that shows up, I'll do a more thorough review of the FOSI V3. But I guess it's nice to have around. I really don't have a use for it. Oh yeah, before I forget, I did want to mention there is a preamp mini jack on the back of the V3, and that can be used as a pre-out, of course, and I used it actually as a subwoofer connection. You have to be very careful, depends on the kind of subwoofer that you have. My subwoofer is an ELAC, and I can adjust the volume of it and the intensity through the app, so I was able to control it there. But if you don't have those kind of controls on your sub, you're not going to have any subwoofer volume control with the V3 built in on board, okay? So just a little concern there, just wanted to make you aware of that. So my initial thoughts about the sound: clean, very clean. In fact, however many watts are in here, they're all doing a pretty good job. I was pretty impressed with the sound overall. Very clean, very detailed, nothing objectionable. Maybe a little bit on the thinner side compared directly with my TIMEX SUG 700, which is quite a bit more expensive, has quite a bit more technology, and is about 40 times the size of this physically. This thing is for this FOSI is for near field listening for sure. I think it would look pretty absurd on top of a cabinet running your system, but it could very well run your system. I was driving the Forte IVs, and you know, obviously 99 dB sensitivity with those. This would be a pretty good match. Yeah, man, made them sound great. What the TIMEX had that this didn't have was just a little more of that airiness, a little more of that detail, the space between the instruments, the sound between the instruments, the sound of the room, all the stuff that you pay big money for. You actually pay money to hear stuff like the room, right? And space between the instruments, notes that aren't being played almost, you know. That's the odd thing about what we do, is that we're spending all that money trying to listen to things that aren't even music. But as far as the music went, as far as this 300 watt amp goes, did a pretty respectable job, and I look forward to digging in deeper. Now I was using raw speaker wire, and again, this is just completely annoying, these things, but you're probably going to have banana plugs, and I should have got banana plugs out, but I was just lazy, because you know what, it's Hi-Fi Fun Day. It's Saturday morning, we're having a good time here. All right, this is well worth the $70 if you've got use for it. You might want to just buy it and keep it around for the odd Saturday morning or whatever, or maybe send it off to college with one of your kids or something. I'm sure there's 1,000,001 uses. I just can't find one in my home. All right, now let's talk about the Frankenstein system we put together for the Fun Club. It was a lot of fun and a lot of work, a lot of carrying speakers up the stairs and connecting speaker wire. Again, we had the Marantz, I believe it's the 5005 CD player. We're using the transport into the Gishelli Labs J2 DAC, out through balanced outputs into the Archel 3 Pro headphone amplifier, which we used as a preamp, into the V3. And guess what? When we connected the bows, magic did not happen. It did not happen. Not every Saturday morning Hi-Fi Fun Club is going to have a happy ending, and this one really didn't have a happy ending. Everything was connected properly. We were getting the sound. Everything was adjusted. I even added a 3010 subwoofer from ELAC just to kind of round things out, but those Bose speakers never got there. That spatial technology just wasn't working in my space. Now, I gotta be fair, those speakers probably deserve to go into a corner to sound good because of the way that array is, with the four tweeters pointing every which way and the port firing up. I'm sure that's a speaker designed to be closer to the front wall or closer to the corners or both. So you know, I've got to give it a break there. Also, you know, I replaced the 8-inch drivers with Parts Express stuff. Now, I thought I matched them pretty good, but maybe it's missing a little something in the bass department. Subwoofer did help, but overall the sound was just a little, or actually a lot thin and very confused. Just wasn't pleasant, and I couldn't keep it on very long. No matter what music I threw at it, again, I was playing mostly CDs, it just wasn't happening. Did we have fun? Oh, absolutely we did. We did. We had fun. We got up on a Saturday morning and we got our toys out, we stripped some wire, and we had some fun. But the results this time for Fun Club number 1, not so good. All right, not so good. If you're interested in a pair of 601 speakers, hit me up. I don't know. I'll keep them in the bedroom. They hold pillows. Great. I mean, listen, I can get 4 or 5 pillows on there. I'll try more tonight. Pillows are no object, okay? Thanks for joining me. I hope you had fun today. We'll do a more detailed review of the FOSI V3. I just wanted to get it out and play with it. It had been sitting in a box for a few weeks. Thanks for joining us. Do your own Saturday morning fun club, Hi-Fi Fun Club next week, and get out some old gear and dust it off and give it a listen. Until then, we'll see you next time in the United States of Analog. The United States of Analog, and this idea